Hello everyone, welcome back again to Godfromb Academy. So today let's go in with Maths Paper 1 2023 GCE. So this is gonna be our revisions for tomorrow's paper. Alright, so we'll answer the full paper. Because of that, ensure that you like and subscribe. Okay, alright, let's start. So this is our paper. So this was question 1. So question 1 says evaluate 3 squared plus 3 to the power negative 1 multiplied by 2 to the power 0. So this is the question. We have 3 squared plus 3 to the power negative 1 multiplied by 2 to the power 0. So how do you go about this one? Firstly, you need to understand that any number to the power 0 is 1 except 0 to the power 0. The rest of the numbers, any number, when you raise it to the power 0 is 1. So here we are going to have 2 to the power 0, which is 1. Then, what are we going to say here? 3 squared is same as what? 3 multiplied by 3. Okay? Then, plus we have 3 to the power negative 1. Now, under indices, we need to understand that 3 to the power negative 1 is same as 1 over 3 to the power 1, which will not change anything. So, how does this become this? So, you need to understand that under indices, if you want to change or to convert the number from this to this or from this back to this, in simple ways, let me explain in simple terms. If you want to change this, say you have x to the power negative 1. This negative becomes 1. Then you say over. So the negative becomes 1. You say over the base. In this case, our base is x. Then to the power, whatever the number is here. So if it is 1, you say to the power 1. So if you have, say, y to the power negative 2. Or let's put it negative 3. How are you going to convert this? The negative becomes what? 1 over the base y to the power the number here, in this case is 3. That's how you go about it. So this one, the negative becomes 1 over the base is 3 here to the power 1. That's how we go about this one. Multiplied by 2 to the power 0, which is 1. Now 3 times 3, to understand that 3 times 3 is 9 plus this is 1 over 3 multiplied by 1, it will remain 1 over 3. From here we can find the common denominator over 1. Then you say the number that in which both 1 and 3 can go into without leaving a remainder is 3. So 1 into 3 is 3. 3 multiplied by 9 is 27 plus this plus 3 into 3 is 1. 1 multiplied by 1 is still 1. So these are our steps. Our last step is going to be 27 plus 1, which is 28 over 3. So this is our answer. So you need to be writing your answers here after calculating. Let's go to question 2. So question 2 says simplify. Then we've been given 2 open brackets x plus 3y close minus 3 open brackets 4x minus 2. So this is our equation. The first thing when you are simplifying, you should remove these brackets. You get rid of them. So how do you remove? You multiply what is outside with everything inside. So we will say 2 times x. We will get 2x. Then you say 2 times positive 3y. So you say 2 times 3. That is positive 6y. Here we will say negative 3 times 4. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 here. Negative 12x. Then negative 3 times negative 2. Negative times negative is positive. So we have plus 3 times 2 is what? Is 6. So here we can collect the like terms. But I like starting with the positive. So I will start with y. But it's one and the same. So I will say 6y here. Then this is also positive 2x. This is negative 12x. Then plus 6 here. So this is 6y 2x minus 12y. So you understand that this is same as positive 2 minus 12. So 2 is positive, 12 is negative. When you see that the signs are different, you do what? You simply subtract the numbers, then you get the value or the sign from the bigger number. So since here it's positive, this negative, it's different. So you say 12 minus 2, that is 10. Then we get the sign from the bigger number 12, which is negative. So we are going to have negative 10. You even maintain the letter x plus 6. So you understand that this is our final answer. Because these are unlike terms, there's nothing we can do further. For question 3, it says factorize completely this equation. So we have 3x squared minus 27. So when you are factorizing completely, how do you go about it? You find what is common here, even here. In case of numbers, you find the number which can go both into this and into this. In this case, you understand that 3 can go into both 3 and 27. So you say 3, then you open the brackets. So now what do you do? You say this term, the first one, 3x squared divided by 3. What is your answer? So you understand that this is 3x squared divided by 3. So this 3 will be cancelled by this 3, meaning we'll remain with x squared. So here it's going to be x squared. When you come to this term, again you get the entire term, negative 27 divided by this, whatever is outside, over 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. So here we're going to have negative 9, because 27 is negative. So it will be like this. From here, you need, since this is squared, we are going to apply a difference of 2 squares. So since this is squared, try to write this, express it with a square also, but without changing the value. So you understand that this 9 is same as, so we'll say 3x squared minus 3 squared, because 3 squared is same as 9. So we still have 9 here, except that we've written it in this way. Now, difference of 2 squares means you get these terms, the same one, x and 3. This x and 3, you make 2 brackets. The first one, if you get negative, the second one should be positive. If in the first set of brackets you write positive, the second one should be negative. That's difference of 2 squares, such that when you multiply the 2, they should give you back this. So you simply get this. So you say 3 open brackets, you get x and 3. So x, you say minus 3. Again x, now you say plus 3. Here you use negative, here you use what? Positive. That's how this is. So by this, you have factorized completely. You just get your answer and put it here. All right, let's continue. So our question 4 says, find the gradient of a line which passes through the points negative 3, negative 1, and 0, 3. So they want us to find the gradients. These are the points they've given us. We have negative 3, negative 1, and 0, 3. So when you are finding the gradient, one thing that you need to know is the formula does not change. Gradient is represented by m. You say gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the formula we use every time we are calculating gradient using the formula. We go with this one. Of course, you can calculate it using other way, but that is, we don't use the formula for that one. Whenever you are using the formula, this is the only formula you go with, as in for mathematics. So at this point now, what do you see? We have y2, y1, x2, x1, meaning we need to name the points. So the first value is always for x in the coordinates. The y is written as the last number. So this is x, and it being the first, we'll say this is x1, 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 yeah. Then we'll say this is y1. This will be x2, this will be y2. You can do it vice versa. You start with this, you end with this. It's one and the same. Then you just replace here. So we are going to have our gradient m is equal to y2 here is 3. minus y1 here is negative 1. So in the formula we have negative, so this is the negative, and the value is also negative, so you put it in brackets like this, over x2 is 0 here, minus x1 is also negative, so you say minus 3. Then this is now going to give us, so we come here, 3 minus 1, so negative times negative is positive, so we are going to have 3 then plus 1 over here we'll say negative times negative positive, so this is 0 plus 3, which is just 3. So this will give us 3 plus 1, 4 over 3. So this is our gradient for this question. For B, for 5, it says shade A union B intersection C complement on the Venn diagram in the answer space below. So how do you shade? So they are telling us A union B. When they say union, it means you get A and B and put them together collectively. Then when they say intersection, now you are coming in with another set which is C, intersection C. But when they say intersection C, there is this complement. This complement sign on top means that set should not be included. So when they say C complement, what they are telling you is do not include C. C should not be shaded. It shouldn't be shaded, but it should be excluded. So that's what this means. Meaning, whenever there is C, what are we going to do? We will not touch that entire part. And when you come here, C is this one. So this entire part should not be what? Should not be shaded, despite there is B in it, despite there is A whatsoever. Provided that this is C, we will not do what? We will not shade it. But we will shade A union B. So we shade set A, the entire, and B, except where C is passing. That's what this means. So this is our C, meaning we are going to shade from here. We shade the entire B and the entire A, except where, like this, except where C is what? Is passing, because C has a complement. That's it for this one. We go to the next. So it says the position vector of a point P is 3 and 4. Given that the point Q is -1 and 1, find PQ. So let me just simplify the vectors here. You understand that when you're dealing with the vector, we always start from a certain point O. So now, what do you say? Since we start from a certain point O, so this is our O, what are we going to say? We will say we are starting from this point. They want us to find P and Q, and we've been given P, we've also been given Q. So say this is our P here, and this is our Q. We always move from O. So when you are making a diagram, the arrows should point that you are moving from O. You are moving from O because we always move from O. And according to the question, they want us to find PQ. See the arrow, we are moving from P going to Q. So I'm moving from this P coming to Q. When you use this, it's easy to come up with a formula by yourself. So you understand we always move from O. No wonder the arrows are pointing from O. And PQ, we are told that we are moving from P going to Q. So we are moving from P going to Q here. So now you say, since we are finding PQ, just like in paper 2, you understand that when they say PQ, they are asking you, how can you move from P to Q? And looking at the diagram, the only option we have is by moving PO. So we will say PQ is equal to moving PO, then we come OQ. You get that one? So our PQ, the one they are asking, is going to be PQ is equal to, then you say PO, then plus what? OQ. You understand that PO is just same as P and OQ is same as Q. And these are the ones we've been given. So from here now, you're going to say our PQ is equal to PO is P, and P is we've been given as 3 and 4. Now, one thing, this is P and this is same as OP. Okay, so in short, we've been given OP, which is 3 and 4, but we're moving PO. So this is OP as it's PO. In short, we are going in the opposite direction. We've been given this, but we are going like this. Since we are going in the opposite direction, we'll put a negative sign to this to show that. That's what we do even in paper 2. So we'll take this as negative 3, 4 plus OQ. OQ, we are still moving in the same direction for OQ. So we'll take it as it is. So this will be negative 1, 1. You write it as a position vector like this. So you just convert the row into the column. From here now, you understand, if you want, you can go direct from here. But if you don't want it to confuse you, you can start with this positive and end with the negative. So this is same as you start with the positive, which is negative 1 and 1, minus now this negative. So this is minus 3 and 4. From here now, this is same as negative 1 minus 3. So the signs are same. When the signs are same, what do? You add the numbers and you retain the what? The sign. So you say 1 plus 3, it's 4. Then you maintain negative. So this is going to give us negative 4. Then the last one now will be 1 minus 4. 1 is positive, 4 is negative. The numbers are different. I explained, you subtract, then you get the sign from the bigger. So 4 minus 1 is 3. You get the sign from the bigger number, which is 4. So it's going to be negative, because 4 is negative. So it's negative 3. In short, 1 minus 4 is what? Is negative 3. So this is going to be your PQ, just like this. Negative 4, negative 3. I hope you understand that one. Let's go to the next. So this is our question 7. Don't forget to do what? To subscribe, and also let us know where are you watching from. All right, so let's proceed. This is question 7. It says, given that P is equal to this and Q is equal to this, find A P transpose, then B P Q. So these are matrices. How do you go about them? So when they say transpose, the concept is simple. Get the rows and convert them into columns. Get the rows and make them columns. So these are rows. Rows are in the horizontal section. Then these are columns in the vertical sections. So for P, we will say P transpose is equal to. Then you convert these rows into columns. So the first row will be the first column. So it will be this one, 4, negative 1, and 0. Then the second row will be the second column. So it will be 2, 0, and 3. This is transpose. If they will not bring this, they will give you the transpose already. Then they ask you to write the original matrix. You still go with the same. You convert the rows into what? Into columns. That's what you do. So this is it for A. For B, what do you do? So this is our B, PQ. So PQ, you say they want us to find PQ. So look at PQ. There's nothing in between, meaning this is multiplication of matrices. They want you to multiply this P and this Q. So our P is 4, negative 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. We are multiplying with our Q, which is 1, 2, 3. One concept you need to understand when multiplying matrices, this is fixed every time. We multiply row by column. So this row, this first row, we multiply the column. If you have many columns, you need to finish all of them. This row multiplied by the first column, you leave a space. This row again, by the second column until we finish the number of columns. But we only have one column in this case. So we multiply this with this. Then we go down this with this. So this is going to be like this. We'll say 4 multiplied by 1. So the first go with the first, second with second, third with third. So 4 by 1. So 4 multiplied by 1 is 4. Then we say plus negative 1, the second multiplied by the second here is 2. Negative 1 times 2, that's negative 2. Then plus again 0 multiplied by 3, that is 0. Here you say 2 multiplied by 1, that is 2, plus 0 multiplied by 2, that is 0, plus 3 multiplied by 3, that is 9. So we are going to have 4. This is positive times negative, that's negative. So we'll say 4 minus 2, that is 2. Plus 1 will not, plus 0, it will still be 2. Then this is 2 plus 0, it's still 2. Plus 9, that's 11. So this will be our PQ. That's it. Then question 8. This is AP. So question 8 says an arithmetic progression is given as 1, 7, 13. Find the 80th term. A. B. Find the sum of the first 15 terms. What do you need to understand here? Well, you need to understand that mainly the formulas that you need to use here, the one for calculating common difference, term 2 minus term 1, or term 3 minus term 2, or term 4 minus term 3, whatsoever, one and the same. The one to calculate the number of terms, A plus, open brackets, n minus 1, D. This is fixed. And the sum, Sn is equal to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1, D. These are mainly the ones we used. So, in this case, what are we going to say? They want the 80th term. So we are going with this, the number of terms, where n is 8 in this case. So our A, okay, let's put it here. We'll say T, we get the formula. Where there is n, we say T8, because our n is 8, is equal to, A is the first term. So we have 1, 7, and 13. So our first term is 1, that's A, plus, open brackets, n is 8 minus 1. D, we can calculate, D is equal to term 2. Term 2 is 7. Minus term 1 is 1. So our D is 7 minus 1, which is 6. So here we'll say 6. Then what are we going to do now? We'll say our term 8 therefore is going to be 1 plus 8 minus 1 is 7 multiplied by this 6. So our term 8 is going to be 1 plus 7 times 6 is 42. So our 80th term is going to be 43. So this is our A. I hope you understand that one. Let's go for our B. So our B, so we will still use this same space. Our B, so for our B, it is saying sum of the first 15 terms. So we will go with this second formula. So sum. So you need to squeeze your solution such that you write well your answers here. But I will still write whenever there is space in this case. So this is our B. So S, they say sum of the first 15. So where there is n, we replace it with 15. Is equal to n 15 over 2. We open the brackets, the square brackets, 2a. A is 1. Plus, open brackets again, n. N is 15 minus 1. D is 6. Now what do you say here? So we say this is going to be, we will still maintain 15 over 2. Open brackets, this is 2 plus. So this is 15 minus 1. 15 minus 1 is what? Is 14. So we will say 14 multiplied by what? By 6. So 14 multiplied by 6, that is 84. Okay, so here we have 84. So this is equal to, we'll say 15 over 2 multiplied by 2 plus 84, that's 86. So we'll say over 2, even here over 2. So 2 into 8 is 4. 2 into 6 is 3. So this is going to be 43. So we'll say our answer now is going to be 15 multiplied by 43, which is now going to be, so we say, since this is 43, we can split it as 40 and 3. So 15 times 40, that's 600. Then 15 times 3 is 45. Yeah, so meaning 15 times 43 together is 600 plus 45, which is 645. So this is going to give us 645 as our 15th, the sum of the first 15 terms. So that's our answer there. We go to the next. So this is our next question. So when you take a look at it, it is saying in a bag there are 4 blue marbles, 3 red marbles, and 2 white marbles. What is the probability of picking at random a red marble? This is probability. So whenever you are dealing with this question, you should firstly find the total. So the total, you say we have how many blue marbles? 4 blue marbles. Then plus how many red marbles? 3. Plus how many white marbles? 2. So our total probability is 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2, 9. So 9 is our total. So whatever the color they ask you, the probability is always that color, the number of that color over the total. If they ask you blue, you say 4 over total 9. But they ask you red, it's 3 over total 9. If they ask you white, it's 2 over total 9. So in this case, they are asking the probability of picking at random a red marble. So you say probability of picking red, capital letter R, is going to be, how many red marbles do we have? We have 3 here over the total 9. This can be reduced. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 9 is 3. So our probability of picking a red marble is going to be 1 over 3. And this is our final answer, 1 over 3. That's it. B, solve the equation. So this is our B. So the equation they've given us is 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. So the square one, the one with the square, is a. This one, this is just the variable without any with a power of 1, is b. Then this is a constant, c. Constant is a number without a variable or a letter. So this is important to know, because sometimes they will get this and put it first, then this one comes on the middle or at the end here. So you need to know the one with a square, not the one which is at first, but the one with a square is a, b. One without a letter is c. So you need to find the product first. Product, you multiply a and c. You know, that's why it is important to identify. So you say you multiply the coefficients. This is 2 multiplied by negative 3. Our product is 6. You find the sum is always b. So the coefficient here is 1. Then you find the factors. So for the factors now, 2 numbers that you can multiply so that they give you the product, because the product you multiply to find it. So 2 numbers that you can multiply, they give you 6, in this case negative 6 rather. But when you get the same numbers and you add them, they should give you the sum, which is 1. So what are those 2 numbers? We multiply, they give negative 6. We add, they give 1. So you understand that, of course, this is going to be 2 and 3. So 2, which one is going to be a negative 2? because negative 2 times 3 is going to give us negative 6. But negative 2 plus 3 will give us positive 1. So these are the factors. So when you get the factors, you get the original equation, then where there is b, you replace it with these numbers and you factor out. So we'll say this is 2x squared. So this is our equation, 2x squared. Then here we say this we replace with this, so we'll start with this. This is minus 2x, we maintain the letter. Then this is positive plus 3x. Then we keep, or we retain the what? The constant, minus 3. This is equal to 0. Now here what do? You factor out, you put them in brackets if you don't want it to confuse you, together with the sign, whether negative or positive. Then you factor out, how did we factor? What is common here? 2 and also x. So we say 2x, open bracket. This divide by this, 2 will cancel with 2. 1x will be cancelled here. So we'll remain with x minus. This, when it cancels with this, it will remain 1. This one, the number that is common is positive 3. We open the brackets. This divided by this, 3 will cancel with this, will remain with x. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1, being equal to 0. So if these are not same in brackets, it means you are not, you've gotten it wrong. So you get what is outside the brackets. You say 2x plus 3. These ones should be equal to 0. Or you get, these are same, so you just get 1. X minus 1 is also equal to 0. From here now, what do you say? So from here you say, so this is our first. So this is 2x plus 3 being equal to 0. We take 3 the other side, we are going to have 2x being equal to, when 3 crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative 3 over 2 over 2. So our x first value is going to be negative 3 over 2. Then the other value now, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So when 1 crosses the equal sign, x becomes positive 1. So no wonder here it said x is equal to dash or dash. You know that you need to provide 2 answers. So if you answer and it gives you 1, you should recheck your work. We go to the next. The universal set E is equal to from 0 to 9. Set A is equal to prime numbers and set B is equal to this. List set A union B complement. So see here, B complement. And union means we are going to get A and B. But when getting A and B, they've added a complement, meaning B should not be included, meaning these ones, whatever the numbers are